should be good. And then there, so you should
Excellent
see these.
connection.
Everything's looking good.
Yeah.
All right. So
let's wait for people to start coming in.
okay.
Let me
Yes,
get the
send me the
parameters.
send me the link real quick, and then I'm gonna send that out to my Discord. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, send me the link to your YouTube live. It's 1 a.m. here. Forgive me for my yawns.
No worries.
Oh man.
Let's try testing your game it around. Let's check how the stream looks.
Oh, okay. One sec. Boop. Oh, there we went down up and there you go. Oh. One thing I want to do. Click this. Time of day. Where is the day? There you go. I think that'll look cooler. Right? Right? Yeah, that looks better, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I love that a lot. Volumetric clouds. It looks really nice. So like if you were to like fly with your starship, you would actually be able to get into that sky. You see how like I'm actually getting closer to the clouds and everything. But yeah.
Let me tweak this out. So
Yeah,
let's
I
start.
gotta tweak this map and stuff. There's so many things that need to be done. No, I'm gonna send them. Yeah, you sent me the link.
Yeah, good. Here in Discord.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna boop boop. I'm gonna send it over to this guy, and then send it over to the Discord. Everyone, come watch the AMA. Oh, boop. There we go. Alrighty then. Yeah. So there's just a few things I gotta do. I gotta tweak that that line where the kind of like the fog. Let's see. There's a way to fix that. No, that's not it. I know there's a way to fix it. But yeah, once more people arrive, let me know I'm not watching the stream, because that actually ruins things. You know what I mean? Boop, boop, boop. Oh, nope, that didn't do anything. Night length. Alright, there you go. Alrighty. So let me see. Set lighting. Not the clouds. So I gotta fix that. Well, this is a test map anyway. It's not the end of the world. I don't have to go that hard. Because like when you're down here, you don't see it, and that's kind of how I designed it initially. Because I know you're not seeing it from up there, because you're not able to even get up there. You know, so you when you work in game development or anything like that, you always work with what can be seen. If that's never going to be seen by the players and they're never going to enter that location, you don't need to be building in that area. You're just creating something unnecessary. And that's usually like kind of like one of the rule of thumbs is just kind of like build only what's needed. And it's also what's like focused on in art and everything like that, because you know artists tend to do more than what's necessary for a job, and we'll take longer on something than we really need to. But still, we end up making it look super dope. And this is the result of Megascans and Nanite, make it really possible to get up nice and close to these and look pretty well detailed still. And apparently we can make it still look even better. It's just learning how to really like tweak the settings and everything. So, how many people we have in the channel? Should we start talking and getting started from the beginning? Or Should we wait a little bit
Let's
longer?
let's wait a bit longer.
Okay,
I
okay.
just made the announcement.
Right, right, right. So I'm gonna change the time of day. I'm gonna go to dawn. Look at that, right? Dawn. You still have the volume. I fucking love this plugin add-on for Unreal Engine. It's called Ultra Dynamic Sky. I'm surprised there aren't a lot of games that really use it that well. Like, this is just amazing. The lighting and everything looks super good. Boop. Super good.
Okay. Yeah, so since we've been streaming for already 5 minutes, we don't want the viewers who will be watching this in the future to load up a lot
Oh,
before
yeah.
the actual anime content. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will be following up or watching this afterwards.
Right,
So I
right.
guess we can start, yeah. I guess we should start with you introducing yourself. So, hey everyone, we're here today with Elijah. So he's the CEO of Animus Regnum, the game that you are currently seeing
Well,
right now that he's demoing to all of us.
yeah, so this what you're seeing right now is just a test map. It's a concept map. Um, these are just like minimal standards when it comes down to quality for me, at least. This is something that I personally created. And the team of artists that I work with, they're on a level that's well beyond what I can personally do. So if you're impressed by what you see here, just know that once we have everything running with the full company and everybody on the team working full time, all this stuff you see here will be on a whole nother level. So either way, my name is Elijah Matthew Moses. I am the CEO of Animus Regnum. Started the company about a year and almost a little over a year ago now. I do remember the exact date almost, but I think it was April of last year from when I last checked. I do remember the date because there's an NFT I created that is the birth of this game. I came up with the game idea the same day I made that NFT. But it's something that will focus on making a blockchain based MMORPG on an infinitely upgradable custom blockchain and make the game also upgradable infinitely as well. Much like games like comparable to Warframe. If anyone has ever played Warframe, you can compare that to what our vision is for a game that's just constantly getting better over time and also surprisingly free to play. Warframe is free to play. And we'll be following that model by making your first character in our game always free, even if you have to earn it to some degree by going through quests or something like that. You'll be able to earn it by playing the game we have laid before you. You know what I mean? So, um, other than that, there's a lot to explore in our concept. There's a lot to work with. There's a lot to build. So there's let's like I guess like let's start from the beginning. Where do you have any introductory questions you want to ask to flow into, or do you want me to just go?
Okay, let's start with what inspired you to start something like this. And after that, could you expound more on what the game is really about?
Okay, cool. So, what inspired this game specifically? Well, I've been playing video games my whole life. My mom, she dreams of being a video game developer. She currently is raising horses in New York right now. But you know, I've been born and raised playing video games. So like I grew up playing my favorite games are RPGs and one of my favorite franchises is The Elder Scrolls. And when I first played The Elder Scrolls, it made me feel like I started with Morrowind. It made me feel like I was truly immersed in something outside of like reality, and it just felt like I stepped into a whole new world. So for me, one of my main focuses was getting deeper and deeper into games like that, and I spent a lot of time doing that. So I was a huge nerd for gaming, big fan of anime, all those different things. Other than that, what ended up happening was I got into art my whole life. I've always been an artist my whole life. You know what I mean? So I've been playing around with like music, composition, production, digital art, and then I eventually got into CG when I started playing around in the NFT space. As
Sorry, CG?
CG, computer graphics, like CGI. So stuff like in that realm, I didn't think I'd be good at because I thought you had to be like an artist, like an illustrator and stuff like that. And then I met other artists in the space who were like, no, you'd probably be really good because if you have a good 3D perspective, it's not like drawing on paper. 2D and 3D are totally different things. So I got into 3D, I started playing around, and I was learning a lot very quickly from a friend of mine who's now on our team, Tony Leonard, one of our senior artists. And he it became very clear to me over time that there was a possibility for us to do something really powerful in the space, and I was trying to figure it out. Now, I came up with the idea when I started playing around with OpenSea for the first time, and for some reason, when I was minting the NFT on OpenSea, it felt like I was creating a Dungeons and Dragons asset. And me, I love those kind of games. I'm a huge nerd, and it just something clicked right there and then and just hit me. And I was like, okay, so we create a game where every last asset is built on a custom blockchain. So everything you earn in game is naturally an NFT by nature because it's on the blockchain. And then you can trade all of these assets for crypto instead of just regular in-game currency. And it was just like it was a no-brainer for me right there and then. Like this has to exist. Like a game like this must exist. So I was super focused on making sure I could figure out how to make this a reality. And gratefully, I'm connected to all the people in the industry in LA and everything like that who work on huge video game like companies and things like that. Um, it's just a matter of like gathering the resources to hire these artists full time, and because of our business model we can do things very uniquely. So other than that, the purpose of the game, that was the next question. We got behind the inspiration, right? So the inspiration is me being a super nerd and playing games my whole life, and also being involved with crypto since like the early dark web days when nobody was using crypto but the people who were buying it off each other off the streets. So having an equal understanding of crypto was also necessary for this game's creation. I can't just have a love of video games. I also had to have a love for crypto and understand how crypto technology worked. When it came to me understanding what was it NFTs, it wasn't hard for me to like piece everything together because of how long I've been playing around with crypto already. So um, getting back to it, the focus of the game is to create an like an open world, you can say technically for like the gaming term, but more of like an open cosmos because we're going to be building a cosmos where there are alternate dimensions, different galaxies, and all these different things you can explore. It's gonna feels kind of infinite in a sense, but not really. It's because there are certain things that are truly finite in the game, like there are in real life. So for me, I'm taking all the different elements of what I love in gaming and working to make it in one truly epic MMORPG. And again, infinitely upgrading the same game, just continually building this. And another focus of this is being a player myself is that I want the players to be more directly involved in the development of the game. So the closed beta is available very early, and people who are involved by becoming members on our Discord and actively getting integrated into the community and wanting to take part in this process early on will have the ability to help us build the closed beta with their information, all the suggestions they give us, all these different like viewpoints and all the ideas they can put out there. We're going to be taking that very seriously because I understand as a player that if they at least listen to us, we would build better video games. So this is like much like an experiment to see how players can experience like can help build a game in the future together with the developers. You know what I mean? And prevent us from having Cyberpunk 2077 situations. But again, the game, I want people to be able to truly own everything they earn in game, being that it's built on the blockchain. Your character is truly owned by you. That's not all these things are digital assets that are verified on the blockchain now, so you can trade them with each other without having to worry about somebody hacking and trying to duplicate a one-of-one asset you created in a game. Like say you made a weapon that you've upgraded for so long and you made it a truly unique weapon that only you have in the game, which is only possible now because of the blockchain. And the reason being is that other people can't duplicate your asset anymore. If they tried to, the blockchain being that it's a decentralized ledger with all other players confirming each other's ledger collectively, it would realize that your inventory, it doesn't match the ledger of everyone else's inventory, and it would correct it automatically. It would happen in seconds, like not even. So you wouldn't be like the very moment they tried to spawn an item in their inventory they weren't supposed to have, the blockchain would completely erase it before they even truly got to even touch it, because it's just how the nature of the blockchain works. The minute somebody's block doesn't match with everyone else's, it corrects itself. So you add that to gaming technology, it creates a realm of security that we've been needing in gaming for a long time. It makes it very difficult for things to be truly valuable in games. You know what I mean? So, on another thing that's truly amazing about this project to me is the fact that when you start integrating all of these different aspects into the experience, now you can also have self-governance. Players can own planets, digital real estate, actually own that real estate, and then create laws on it because of things like voting governance systems and things like that, and tokenized like token systems that are just designed for voting structures and things in that realm. And again, the reason why we're building it on a custom blockchain and not on someone else's blockchain is because we want people to be able to say you're a sovereign owner of your own planet or star system. Well, you should be able to create a token specifically for your star system and build an ecosystem that creates its own value through that. So there's so many different opportunities for players in this game, and I want to make it so that way players can truly experience a storyline beyond just the stories we create for them to experience, but stories that they naturally create through each other, through the conflicts they may come into play with. Like, say you have a conflict from one planet to another, and you guys just don't seem to get along. That's going to create its own dynamic in the game that we are not necessarily involved with. That's just completely player controlled. You get what I'm saying? And how that
Yeah.
ends up is completely based on the players. It doesn't have anything to do with us. We may get involved if it gets to, if to some degree if they force us to get involved. But there's a lot of free will in the game that we want to explore. I played games like Grand Theft Auto and all these different things, so like I'm just working to like again fuse all the different aspects of gaming I love the most into one truly epic MMO. Now, people would probably ask, just before you go on to the next question, people would probably ask, how is it possible to create something so large on an MMO where companies have struggled to do this for years? Well, we're recently having technology come out available like Improbable AI, which is a company that makes it available for you to share server power across players and make it so that way a centralized server doesn't need to exist anymore if you don't want it to. There's multiple ways to create like just create server power now, and a decentralized server sharing system. I know it sounds a little confusing, but just sharing server power, quite simply, it makes it possible for hundreds of thousands to millions of players to play on the same server at the same time and have no lag. There's a bunch of examples online. Look up Improbable AI. It's insane what they're capable of. But yes, let's go on to the next question.
Uh, well, speaking of improbable AI, sharing server power in a decentralized manner sounds something like how mining works. Am I right?
Yeah, kind of like that. It is pretty much how mining works in some certain sense. And there are ideas we do have for our own like hardware for the company in the future that I will disclose publicly later. We're keeping that under wraps for now. But yeah, we have some really interesting hardware ideas for like completely unique hard wallets that are also unique. Just yeah, I don't want to say too much, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about the tokenomics of your game. But
hmm
before you answer that, could you like show us or show everyone how the game looks like? Maybe you could press the play button or something and move around
Okay,
while you talk about the
so this,
tokenomics.
yeah, so I won't speak too much. I'm gonna because it'll distract me while I'm doing this.
Ah,
For sure. So this is This is just the game for now. As you can see, it says the texture streaming pool, and this is not what the game is going to look like in the future. It's going to look better. Plain and simple. If you think this is impressive now, then, you know, I just want you guys to know it's going to look better than this. This is all very basic and very skeleton, you know, based. There's not too much in here. There's just a few different things to make, you know, basic functions available to me at the moment. And like, you know, the health bar and the stamina bar and the mana bar, all those different things can be completely recustomized so I can make it look however I want. It's just having the function there that is important. But yeah, go ahead, sir.
Could you could you make it a little bit brighter, or like I think
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah.
nighttime and you're
Oh yeah, I can go
yeah,
ahead. Let's just turn up the
make it
sun, right?
daytime.
Let's turn up the sunlight, right? Let's get the sun
Yeah,
out.
so that
There.
people can see how it really looks.
Yeah, yeah. Let's boop boop boop. Let's get some. Let's see. Got some nice shading and everything in here. All right, cool.
All right, let's walk around again.
All right.
Show people what you have so far.
Yeah, so it's a little
Mechanic,
laggy.
mechanics built on already.
Yeah, it's a little laggy because I'm like streaming at the same time while also playing this thing. All right,
Yeah,
so
what kind of mechanics you guys have built in so far?
so far we just have the basic structures of things. So one of the main focuses for me right now is building a commodity system, and I did just recently get my hands on a bunch of different blueprints, well, plugins as well as you could say, um, for Unreal, so that way I can make this a lot more intricate. But we haven't gotten to that just yet. But still, we already have the ability to craft in the game, right? We're just gonna update the UI from here and make it look more, you know, appealing, and just add more assets to this that are available in the game for you to harvest and things like that. Oops, wrong button. So you'll be able to run around and, like, you know, possibly destroy things like this, and you see how it's got like metal on it and wood. So you, if you destroy it, you can pick up the salvaged resources like broken wood or, you know, broken metal, things in that realm, like scrap metal. Um, Destroying these plants and things like that, which you can't do right now, unfortunately. And it's just a little few other things that I have to do to make that possible. But if you like chop up the plants, all those different things, you get fibers, different things in that realm. Pick all these things up, and every asset you pick up in this game, our next step is going to be making it so that way it shows up in your wallet. We will be working with Defungify. They have a membership they just recently released, and I just reached out to them today to see if we can form a partnership, which I'm almost certain I will be able to form with them, because, you know, they're they're looking to build with people in the space as much as possible, because there's not many projects who are, you know, really looking to make things like this happen. But yeah, that's, you know, we have a lot of options here. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's the goal. Um,
Yeah. So you
Unfortunately,
mentioned that.
huh?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, unfortunately, you can't chop down the trees yet, and, you know, there isn't collision on the trees or anything just yet. It's like I said, I've been building this all by myself, and as the CEO of the company and also a person who does the art and story and all these different things, I don't get to sit here enough and
Mhm.
play around with this as much as I'd like to. Um, but yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna ask regarding the crafting system.
Hmm.
So you mentioned that every NFT or sorry, every item that you pick up in the game, every
Hmm.
commodity or everything will be available, or you could see it in your wallet.
Yes,
Meaning you'll be converting everything in the item, all items in the game will be will be turned into NFTs, right? So
pretty
they
much
could be
like everything.
tradable in secondary markets.
Yes, everything is going to be so. Since we're partnered up with Miria, everything will be showing up in Miria's marketplace, right? Um, that's pretty much our focus there. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. I don't want to make that a promise, because if Miria, and this is a situation, hopefully it does not, they can make it happen, because we do need certain contract functionalities like 1155 and 998. And if we don't have those contract functionalities, we're going to have to do a cross chain collaboration with Myria and probably another chain, which is what we're discussing. But that's just a possibility. There's no guarantee. But for now,
Okay.
everything would show up on Myria's marketplace, right? And all of those assets would show up in their wallet, and you would be able to trade them with for Ethereum
Yeah.
or Myria token or whatever token is available at that time to be traded with on Myria's marketplace, right?
That also means that if you're a player and you have extra funds, you could buy these items from other players.
Yes,
Or
pretty
if you're a
much.
grinder, trying to grind and farm a lot of items, in-game items, you could sell it out to others who's trying to boost themselves into that game, right?
Right. Now, that's going to go into the next segment, right? People would ask, all right, so how does this prevent people from just spam farming things and just reducing the value of them dramatically, right? Well, just like RuneScape, there's an economy system where you can't just easily access everything. You know, all the good stuff is something that you really have to work your way up to. And because players have to truly work hours upon hours upon hours, days, to earn these abilities to do these things, then they just decide no, there's no way they're going to sell them for a low price. They start to regulate the
Yeah.
market naturally. So it doesn't matter if an item is infinite in a video game, and this is the reason why companies like Axie Infinity and all these other NFT gaming projects are failing. It's because they don't understand how to create true economic structures in gaming where you understand supply and demand and ensuring that players are capable of utilizing those resources efficiently. You need to make sure that players are, like, if you want an item to be expensive in the game, you need to make sure that players are using it for multiple reasons. It has actual utility in the game for players to need that asset, and it also has to be a rare amount of it. It doesn't matter like if it's infinitely available in the universe. It just you have to make it very difficult to access. So that way, maybe someone, even with their highest skills, can only earn 10 of them a day, 10 of those resources a day, like 10, they can only mine like some rare crystal from some alien planet where only it's like the hardest form of crystal in the cosmos, and only the most talented craftsmen and miners can actually access it and things like that. That's gonna create natural value. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way you're gonna, and especially if those crystals are being used for very valuable weapons, armor, starships, vehicles, accessories, like attachments, all these different things. You know what I mean? So it's just extremely powerful. Like you're and because of the technology that blockchain is moving in, and all these different directions we can move with this now, it really allows us to give players that level of freedom and control over their assets, so they can trade all of these different things with each other for crypto. It's insane.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I see some, yeah, I see that. And this, what is that in
Oh, what, these
the
guys?
yeah.
Oh, they're test enemies. They're in to test like the mechanics of combat right now. The combat system is going to change dramatically. So you're also going to be able to go in first person. Well, you're going to start in first person. So I have this thing where you're not going to be able to go into third person until you earn the ability to. Because in real life, you just don't get to see in third person. That's kind of crazy. It would make sense if you had a drone and a cybernetic eye, things like that. You know what I mean? That makes sense. Oh, maybe you can leave your body and simultaneously use your body at the same time while looking over your shoulder in some spectral form. I don't know. But third person doesn't seem realistic in real life if you could just be like, oh yeah, let me just look outside my head. No. So, but yeah, I have a lot of plans, a lot of plans for this game. If we were to sit here and talk about all my plans, we would probably be here for hours. But what is let's go. Let's move on to the I think the next segment, right? Next questions. Um,
Yeah, so speaking of plans though, how's the near future looking like for Animus Regnum? Let's
so
say for this month, November, and for December, what do you have in plan, or what are your plans for the next 2 months?
okay, so the plan for the next 2 months, we're releasing our free mint, right? And we're filling up our Discord. The first 10,000 people to join our Discord and actively claim an early member role, which is a role that you lock in for the free mint. It's basically you claiming your own whitelist position. This is going to prevent robots from actually claiming all of our mints, which we don't want because that dramatically drops the value of any project. We've seen that constantly in the space, and make it possible for people to really get involved from the ground on the ground level in something that is going to live here in the long term when it comes down to Web3 gaming,
Yeah.
right? So we want that
Okay,
free
wait.
mint to bring people in.
So going back, how do you get a free mint?
You go to our Discord and you claim an early member role. You go to the roles channel, and right now the role you have to claim is Sumerian, which is a legendary species in our game. And you can learn about the Sumerians through audio logs or reading in the lore that we have available on the Cosmic Guide for Animus Regnum. So we have tons of information about the game already. We have tons of knowledge that you can gain about what the vision is. Tons of lore as well already developed about where the direction of the story is going to go of the game. Um, so definitely take advantage of that. And the free mint is all you have to do is join the Discord, and go over to the roles channel and actively claim the role yourself. This way we make sure you're human and you're actively participating in the community. You're not just trying to rush through for a free mint, you know what I mean? And there's tons of bots that do that. They hear free mint and they
Yeah.
just send bots into the system. So we don't have time for that. We want to get people who are real individuals who care about gaming these positions, and that way you guys can help us build something that's truly powerful. And this is like one of the first times in the world where we can build a game like this that lives on such a decentralized level globally. So that's one of the main things we're focused on for the free mint. But we also have another mint on top of that coming up, but that's extremely exclusive. It's not 10,000 NFTs, it's 777, and they're known as the cosmic domains. And those are living dimensions. You can get whitelist for that on our Discord, but you have to earn it. And we're also giving away whitelists to different communities in our space. And if anyone is listening right now, you may win a whitelist at the end of this call. Who knows? We might do something like that. We might just do a little whitelist giveaway randomly here today at the end of this all. Um, but yeah, the cosmic domains are living dimensions that are higher dimensional entities that you can become friends with. And when you own a cosmic domain, it gives you the ability to go and build that friendship and start the quest to claim that connection to this domain. Now, when you have access to this domain, it's basically a party member, but the thing is, it's a party member that's capable of creating an entire dimension separate from that reality for you. So you can run, it can become a portal that you can run into, hide away in, and on the other side of that portal, it can be a completely whole new world that it's just like who knows what it is. So my vision is to have a procedural system that makes these things truly unique, or we might design them by hand, which is something I kind of dread a little bit, but it's something I might do just because of how cool I want them to be. But yeah, we want the cosmic domains to be an extremely unique experience and a powerful experience. And because anyone in part of this project now, you're here early, and all of the first assets in the game I want to be Genesis assets, and all the Genesis assets should naturally hold the most value. Period. So same thing with your veteranship. You get here early, you will be rewarded the most naturally. You will have the strongest lead over anyone else in the game. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
In our closed beta, you will be carrying over a lot of the items you earned in the closed beta. Almost all the items you earn in a closed beta will be carried over. I can't say every last item because there may be some items where we're like, nah, we have to alter this or change it or something like that because it was broken in the closed beta, and then when it makes sense putting it in the full release, right? But most of everything you earn in a closed beta will be transferred over, and we're going to make it possible for people to just like build something before the game is fully released. That's the focus, is having players help us build a game before it even comes out in the first place. You know what I mean? We're We want players to feel involved, and not feel, be involved. Not because feeling like you're doing something doesn't mean you're actually doing something. No, we want players to actually be involved and help us see how much we can make the game better in all these different angles and perspectives. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's just there's a lot of love being put into this, and my main focus is just making sure that we can all experience something that's truly authentic. And the only way you can do that is when you kind of pay attention to what people are saying. But back, what was the last question again? What we're doing for November and December?
Yeah,
So,
and December.
right. So December, moving into December, like November, December, that's all crunched into the same thing. It's just this main focus is making sure we get that free mint moving, which should be launched by the end of this month. We have tons of connections to different projects and communities and collaborations we can form with others. So giving away these whitelists to different communities, different projects and things in that realm, recruiting as many different people into the Discord as we can to reach that 10,000 mark. When we get to the 10,000 mark, we will be shutting down the Discord. Doesn't mean that you can't join the Discord anymore. It's just going to be locked behind a quest. And you will have to complete a quest. It might be a quest that you have to go through with Adamant Metanet. You know what I mean? All these different things. So the reason why we're doing that is because we want people to start to, like, as it becomes more popular, we want it to become more difficult to access naturally, kind of like how crypto, you know, the more we access of it, the harder it gets to mine. The same thing with our Discord. The more we start to grow, the harder it gets to access our group. And the reason why I want this to happen is because it starts to create a natural understanding of value. And all the people who are there initially start to value their positions even further. And it starts to create more value for your position in the first place. I want you guys to be rewarded for everything that, you know, we're doing here. Um, so, yeah, the free mint, the cosmic domains, that's about it. And then we are also going to release in December, probably like mid-December, maybe early December, depends on how quick we can get everything organized for all of this. um, a real estate package for Elysium, which is the most advanced galaxy in the cosmos, because we own it as the creators, and we as the creators will have a capital in Elysium, which is the capital of the entire cosmos, which is known as Animus as well. So yeah, there's going to be options to get a planet in Elysium, a star system, or a plot of land in the capital of the entire cosmos. So, you know, we'll be releasing those later. You can check out the prices of those on our website when we release those. Those are the more high roller prices, you know what I mean? Like starting from like 10 ETH and up. So, um, this is like early release of real estate. There's 16 galaxies in the game we're going to be releasing. So that's just one step in the real estate direction. And by phase 3 we'll be into the real estate, but that will be after December, like probably January, February area. But yeah.
So we have a question here.
Okay.
Will there be a downloadable app to play this, or it can be played on any browser?
Okay, so this is not going to be a browser-based game. One, you're going to need to have a PC. You will need to have a PC. Now, the thing is, we are going to be working on, and I remember I was talking about it earlier, some hardware, right? Kind of like a hardware that's dedicated completely to the game and makes it possible for you to run the game from that hardware. That is the most I'm going to say about that. We do have plans for, you know, just because you own the hardware, you're being rewarded tokens and all that different stuff, but, you know, I don't want to go too deep into it right now. But I do understand that too many people in the world do not have the ability to buy a $3,000 gaming system, or even $2,000, $1,000 gaming system. That's just a lot of money for some people. So what we want to do is create a piece of hardware that makes it possible for them to get in an affordable range, that they can buy something that makes it possible to play the game from that technology we create, and, you know, not have to have like the greatest computer in the world. Like you could just plug it into your laptop and then just run the launcher from your laptop that syncs with our hardware, and the game runs off the hardware. You know what I'm saying? But if you
Oh,
do have a powerful enough computer that can just run the game itself, that's another option.
So yeah, someone asked here, will there be a mobile version? So I'm assuming no, right?
No, this is definitely not a mobile game. This is a game that's going to be more of like a flat like AAA. Like this is AAA gaming. Like this is where we're heading with that. We're not heading for a mobile game or anything basic like that. Like we're looking to make the ultimate video game ever played. So it's going to lean into you can also play it in VR. You don't have to play it in VR, but you will also be able to play this game in VR. So, like, say your friends are playing the game on controller, keyboard, and mouse, but you have a headset, you'll still be able to play the game together.
So how can we get the hardware? Chill Streams is asking, and will it be like a Treasure thing?
Trezor, I gotta look back into Trezor. It's gonna probably be something like that, but it's gonna be a little bit larger. So, I can't talk too much about the technology just yet because it's IP that's sensitive right now, and
Mhm.
we gotta develop that and get patents and everything on everything. But the hardware will be available on our website once we get to that point. It will probably happen at some point mid next year, so don't worry about that too early just yet. You will have the chance to lock it in early once we have a design and understanding of how much everything is going to cost and what we can put it out at the most affordable rate to make sure it's fair for everyone. You know what I mean? I don't want to like try to charge people twice of what it cost us to produce everything. I want to really just figure out what production costs are, make a small profit, and then make sure that people can get these things at an affordable cost because just you guys having these, making it possible for you to play the game is more rewarding for the company overall. So, you know, just but yeah, that's definitely one of our focuses, and we will make pre-purchases and everything like that available for the hardware in the near future. Just got to sit down and talk to our head of blockchain and work all that stuff out.
Yeah, I love that. So like despite the game being like a super big triple A high graphics, needing like supercomputers to run it,
Hmm.
you guys are developing hardware that you just have to plug into your lower spec computers,
Yeah,
laptops, and you'll be able to now run the game with triple A graphics.
yeah, pretty much.
Amazing technology. So does this kind of technology already exist somewhere, or do people already have this? Other
Yeah,
games have. That's the
yeah.
first time I've heard of it, actually.
Yeah, no, there's stuff like that that exists already. It's just it's not super cheap yet. You know what I mean? I forget there's a few different companies have done this already for years ago. Like it's nothing new. It's just it's this would be used in a different format. We'd be using it on a blockchain network system. You know what I mean? So um, it's just like taking that technology and fusing it with like blockchain concepts and stuff like that. So that's where it gets unique. But it's other for the most part having hardware that you can plug into another computer so that way you can run high spec games and things like that. There's also cloud service gaming where all you really need is a good internet connection and then you can play the game from a cloud server, right? So
Hmm.
that's another option too. I'd rather go against that option because those tend to be a lot more laggy and things like that tend to have like more errors and because you purely depend on the quality of your internet structure. This with this hardware device that would also solve internet connection issues and all these different kinds of things. So there's a lot that's going to go into the hardware we're personally designing for. Our hardware is going to end up truly unique, yes, but it is like think of it like a mixture of all these different technologies that already exist, though, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah. We have a couple of questions here.
cool, yeah.
So, yeah, first question here is, in case the hardware is lost or has been damaged, how will they still be able to play the game again? And this is kind of in connection to that previous question. How can we even log in? Is it wallet based, or could we create a username or password for it?
Okay, so this sucks because like these questions are like making me enter a realm of where I'm not trying to go about technology. But all right, I'll let me think of how I can say this without saying too much. So you will be able to have a like you know how you have your passcode, your secret phase and stuff like that. So as long as you have that, if you have to replace the physical hardware, you can. You know what I mean? As long as you have your key and information, that's fine. If you lose it, God forbid. If it's damaged,
Okay.
you probably will be able to send it back to us and have our team, replace it for you and things like that. As long as you send us back the damaged hardware, we can probably fix it. If not, we'll just send you another one back, type stuff. Um, like,
It's
but
so basically it's wallet.
huh?
Basically, your account is wallet based, so all data is saved on chain through your wallet address.
Yeah. The hardware device is just a tool to help you access these things more efficiently and more securely.
Okay. Yeah, so that's I guess that can answer the questions here. So it's wallet based.
Yes.
And based on the wallet, the hardware is only used to play. So if you lose your hardware, then either you get a better computer or send the hardware back
Hmm.
and have it replaced, or just get a new one and support the team, right?
Right. Right. Pretty much.
Or yeah. So another question here is, can we create a username or password for the wallet, like assigning a username and password for the wallet account?
Yeah, we're gonna have multiple layers of security for your account. You're gonna be able to have a 2FA and everything like that, so that way you can have confirmations go to your phone for should somebody try to sign into your account and things like that. Because when you're in the game, you're not gonna want to have a 2FA every time you're doing something in game. So it's all gonna have to happen before you sign in. Like all security measures and procedures have to happen before you sign into the game to ensure that when you're in the game, it's actually you. Now, yeah, so all that stuff isn't going to be public or anything like that. Like when you're because you're going to have to go through KYC to play this game, like at on certain level, because like we need to know that you are who you are. You know what I mean? You're not making multiple accounts and things like that. There's just so many different factors, and legal factors as well. So uh, and just make sure that we stay in compliance, because as this game evolves, you got to understand everybody's trading real value here with crypto and all these different things. So yeah, tons of things to pay attention to there.
Okay. Another question here is, the items here will all be unique, or there will be a max limit for each type of item for the whole game.
So, all right. So it depends. Like, say there's like wood, right? If some of you guys have played RuneScape or like World of Warcraft and things like that, right? And you can build your skill to access resources that can grow infinitely. Well, just because they can grow infinitely doesn't mean there will be infinite amounts of them, because they're not easy to access all the time. Um, and then, you know, so there's also weapons that are truly one of one. So, like, there's 5 different grades of like assets in our game. So the grades are common, rare, exotic, legendary, and godly. Right. So godly assets are truly one of one. Anything that is godly is a one of one thing for the most part. Not all of them are. Like there are very few things that are like artifacts, or like maybe a godly potion that you can have more than one of, but are extremely rare in the game. Like probably only 5 in existence, but there's like you can have multiple of them in your inventory, but they stack as because they're the same potion. You get what I'm saying? But so that's there's multiple different things, but this is the first time in gaming history where you can actually have a weapon that's so unique to you that when you enter a PvP tournament or something like that, or a Coliseum tournament in the game, people will recognize you just because of your weapon. They'd be like, "Oh my God, that's the player. They know you by your username and everything. Like that's Efficio. Oh my God, he's that's actually he has the you see that's his weapon. Like they will know no matter what." Just because you will become famous just because of certain assets you own in the game, and how good you are at the game as well. So there's this is like it allows for like a truly anime level experience when it comes down to gaming, which is amazing to me, because people have been wanting to have like that level of like value with their characters for a long time, because again, everybody can just go ahead and get the same item you have in all these other games, but with this makes it possible for you to truly have one of ones.
So another question here. This time is regarding the earning part.
Hmm.
So earlier we discussed regarding how we're gonna have every single item in the game be NFTs, right? And that they could be traded in the secondary market, sold or bought in the secondary market.
Right.
So here he's asking is this the only way to make money? Is to get items that can be sold in the secondary market, or will there be reward tokens in game?
Well, yeah, rewards. Like, say you complete a quest that we've laid out for you, and you get paid tokens. So the entire game will have a token that it's running on, right? Like, so when you go to the capital of Animus, there's going to be a currency structure. That currency will be a cryptocurrency. So you complete missions that we've assigned in the game to you, you will be getting paid in that cryptocurrency. It's play to earn. It's truly play to earn.
How about other utilities for this currency?
So the currency has like multiple utilities in the game. We're not too sure on all the different tokenomic structures we're going to make for it, like staking and things like that, just yet. Um, I'm still sitting down with our blockchain developer, and we're going to play around with our tokenomic side of things like that. But the tokenomics I can tell you about are we do plan on sending a percentage to something known as the Arc of the Elders, because it's one of the quests I want to create in a game, where a small percentage of every last transaction in the game is constantly being fed over to a wallet that's hidden in game and can be accessed in this room. In this room there will be godly assets as well along with the wallet, and it will be the hardest quest we've ever made in this game. I want it to be the most difficult quest we've that could probably have has ever touched gaming history. I want people making YouTube videos about how they spent like years trying to figure out how to get into that room. So yeah, that's one tokenomic structure I think people would find super interesting. Another tokenomic structure is that liquidity will be constantly fed from every last transaction from not just the tokens in the game, but also the NFTs. And liquidity will be constantly built through every last transaction in the NFTs from the game for the token and the token itself. So a small percentage from the NFTs and a small percentage from the token. That liquidity pool is going to be locked under our multi-signature wallet with a couple of other. I'm thinking at least one. I'd prefer two. People say you don't need two, but I'm like, I don't know. I'd prefer two different security companies because two people can easily co-inspire with each other. Three different crypto companies, you know what I mean? Ourselves included, where that's all under a multi-signature wallet, because we don't want another safe moon situation where they say we're not going to touch the liquidity, and for some reason, no. Let's just make it possible, because that's what this technology can do, to make it so that we cannot touch the liquidity pool no matter what, right? And then ensure that everybody's ability to actually access their resources are possible. But the other, I think there is one more utility. I'm trying to think. One more tokenomic utility. Doop doop doop. Arc of the Elders, the liquidity pool. I'm forgetting something. I know I am. Ask me the next question. I'll remember.
Wait, here. There's some questions. I'll send it to you here in Discord.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, 1 second. Oh, let me check it. I haven't, like you said, you sent it on Discord. So,
Yeah.
alrighty. Theoretically, we could play AAA games on a potato phone that's really good, like a GeForce One, the cloud gaming. Oh yeah, that's yeah. So yeah, it's like that's a very interesting question, but like if you had a super good phone, yeah, you probably could with like a controller connected to your phone, and then that
Good. So
hardware.
can you go back to the Discord and the it's video. It's
Oh,
getting lost.
sorry, yeah, 1 second.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, there we
Okay.
go.
Continue.
So, I think it's like it could be possible, but it's probably going to be more difficult than you want it to be, honestly. Um, who knows? There might be like a more mobile version that we make available for this game in the future, like the Steam Deck. You know what I mean? But that's probably way down the line. Like, I want to make sure that we focus on the basics of making it possible for you guys to get into the closed beta and start trading these assets as NFTs immediately, so we can see value created through the game, just because of simply being able to craft items and things like that, and just hunt monsters and just all that dope stuff.
Here another Would the reward token even be healthy? I think the next part in the meta is BNB or Ethereum as reward tokens for staking or rewards to projects or rewards for staking or rewards. And he says that he knows two projects already using such. Funny because we're actually thinking of doing something similar for Adamant to use BNB or Ethereum as rewards in the future or
Yeah,
even BUS. But that doesn't mean that one token will be a unhealthy reward token. So it really depends on how the token is going to be utilized, and the way Elijah has been explaining how all the utilities for their in-game token or which will also be the reward token. I think it could be pretty healthy because the game has so much function, it has its own in-game economy. It's a huge game. It's like you've kept mentioning something like RuneScape, right?
yeah,
And I mean, if we put it that way, like RuneScape has its own in-game goals. Just convert that as a cryptocurrency, right? And all the other items as NFTs. And I'd be able to say that RuneScape has created a 15, 20 year play to earn game sustainable, which hasn't been happening around, right? But with the same with the same concept or similar concept rather with a game economy and just converting the gold into crypto and the other items into NFTs, then it's definitely it's how now that you put it that way, it seems very possible to actually create a play to earn or maybe play and earn NFT game, a sustainable one.
extremely sustainable one. That's the thing. It's just understanding supply and demand. If you don't understand supply and demand, so the real value, the healthiness comes from. So think about it like this. Um, Players are going around the game harvesting wood so that way other players can use it to build their homes, weapon attachments, different structures for their equipment, all these different things that you need to use it for. Interior design for your starship, your cars, all these different things that it's used for the same way it is in real life. And if you want the really, really good stuff, it's harder to obtain naturally because it's more rare or something like that. And then just because it's more desired, even potentially, it doesn't even have to be rare. Just because people desire it more, and it's just they like the aesthetic of it, it can sell for more. There's so many different factors, especially in gaming, that are just huge. Now, when you take all that transaction value you see in structures like this, right, and you add it to the cryptocurrency, liquidity is built from all of those transactions. Value is built from all those transactions. This is constantly stacking value every time people play this game and sell something to one another. Which in gaming, if you've ever played a game like this in your life, like RuneScape or World of Warcraft, you know the marketplaces move in insane volumes. They transcend the stock market. So you really have to understand, like once you once you apply that to a token, it's gonna be kind of crazy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I completely agree. And one major issue I think that we've been seeing with previous play to earn games is that the earnings part was prioritized over the gameplay. And one reason I believe that's happening or that happened before is that the technology of blockchain, there was no layer 2 solutions. There's a lot of things that you couldn't do before, like at least last year compared to now. The difference in technology that blockchain has compared to 2021 versus 2022 is a huge gap. Like now you're able to create things like what we're seeing right now. But if we go 1 year ago and we try to build something like this where even ERC 1155 was barely existent, right? So you can't just make a game that's very immersive with everything with NFTs everywhere with great economies. It's because it wasn't really possible yet. Like, but now 1 year later, we're able to actually create these kinds of games like World of Warcraft, right, or RuneScape into Web3. And now these old games, these classic AAA games that people have been playing for years, have been having their own sustainable economy. There's even real world trading happening with those games, right? People selling their items for actual real cash. They're just the same way as how play to earn would be working, right? So it really does exist and it can exist. The biggest issue was the technology was not ready. Web3 blockchain was not ready to be able to create something like that. But like all these new solutions, all these new upgraded chains, all these new layer two solutions out there, the AI solutions, they're all here making it much more possible. And this is what Elijah is doing with Animus, leveraging all of these other things, making it making it very possible to create a triple A sustainable economy, everything that you could think of in an actual game. The game comes first before the earnings. And that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, for me, like I try to express this a lot because I've been meeting a lot of blockchain gaming companies lately, and just gaming companies in general that want to get involved in this. And I reiterate to everyone constantly that if you focus on the quality of the game, you will always make something that will create value. Because if the game is good, players will play it. And if it's not good, no one's going to play it, plain and simple. And a game no one plays will never make money. So it's just, it's not rocket science. It's just you need to make sure that the people who run these things and actually build these things care about the company, care about the game's overall experience. They don't just care about profit. Profit is nice and all, but I can't profit as a company making a game that sucks. Plain and simple. So, like, it's just, it's really not rocket science. But I think, for those of us who are watching this, who have been playing games like RuneScape our whole lives, just you hearing uh, gold being turned into a cryptocurrency, that should have turned on a light bulb where you're just like, wait a minute, hold up. And then for those of you who don't get it, go home, play, or if you're wherever you are, if you're on a computer, you're probably on your computer right now. And then, wait, RuneScape can be played mobile now. So
Yeah.
play RuneScape for a little bit. See how the economy works. See how that structure works, because it'll give you an idea. It's not going to look like this. We're going to look infinitely better than RuneScape looks, but the economy is important because there's people in RuneScape who sell RuneScape gold for enough money that they make over $1 million a year in the real world. Like a million,
Yes.
a million American dollars still today selling RuneScape gold.
Yeah.
This is a real thing, and it's insane. So when you take that into equation, imagine if RuneScape instead of gold being in-game currency only, and I have to sell it through eBay to someone, make it just a cryptocurrency that's exchangeable on all other exchanges, like Gala Games and Decentraland and Sandbox. Those aren't even really games. This would be a game that actually has its own game token. And then imagine in a marketplace, every last asset in RuneScape's marketplace was feeding their liquidity.
As an NFT.
Yeah, like constantly feeding their liquidity because you trade all those assets and RuneScape, the company gets royalties. They get like a 5% royalty, 8% royalty on every last transaction. And a piece of that percentage is feeding the liquidity pool of that token. Oh my god. we're, we're,
Yeah.
we're talking about a token that's going to create so much value for itself. It's going to scare the world. They're going to be like, dude, how do people make this much money playing video games? It doesn't make sense right now. And
Yes.
it's math. It's just knowing the math. It's doing the numbers.
Yes, this is where game comes first before earnings, and the earnings will then follow. It's funny because I've actually played RuneScape for over 15 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And I've even played a few times this year. I go on and off, yeah, RuneScape. And our company, Adamant, is actually, I got the name from RuneScape because it's one of the precious metals in RuneScape.
I actually thought that, and I didn't want to believe it. I was like, man, that's just me being a nerd. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
It's actually from that, yeah.
We both have a company created out of a game's inspiration because Animus is from Assassin's Creed. The technology
Oh.
and the technology in Assassin's Creed, the Animus that they go in and yeah, that's where the name comes from.
Yeah, so our name came from RuneScape. So
Yeah.
now that we presented this and showed me how your economy or how you want the economy to work, it's like, yeah, it's actually like RuneScape. And like what you mentioned, people are spending millions of dollars just to buy RuneScape gold. There are people farming RuneScape gold every single day just to sell it for US dollars. And where is this buying power coming from? Why is there so much liquidity for people to want it? Because it's really being used into the game and people are really enjoying using it in the game. So that's where now that we have the technology to be able to build an actual fun game that people would love to play, Then something like World of Warcraft, RuneScape, Diablo, like mentioned earlier. There's many countless games out there that people have been playing. Thousands, millions are playing every day. And they are spending, trading real money, buying golds in the black market or in eBay, right? You're just making it easier for them, legalizing it, right? Putting it on chain. You'll now sell,
Legalizing it. Yes, exactly. Making it
right?
so that way we don't have to be in the darkness anymore. We can do this legitimately.
Like, sell your NFTs for Ethereum, sell your buy tokens or sell tokens for Ethereum, or buy tokens, buy items, right? So there's actually another question here. Now that we're talking about trading,
Right, right.
if the items and NFTs can be sold to other platforms outside the game, will it require the same in-game token to trade, or will it be a stable token and to have more stable value?
Well, the thing is, if you trade the assets outside your character's wallet or the character in the game, if it's not attached, so there's there's a smart contract structure called an ERC 998, right? And we're going to be using the 998 to have your character created through that system. The reason being is because your character is going to be like an ERC just makes it possible for your NFT to own an NFT. It's kind of weird, but what makes it make sense is that your character's inventory is unique, right? So that's an NFT that has to have its own inventory of NFTs. So it owning other NFTs, that's all of its inventory, right? Now, if you send anything out of that inventory, just even outside of that character's wallet, even remotely, it's no longer going to be in the game. It's not going to be in the game. You will not be able to use it. Now,
Okay.
some things will not be transferable out of your wallet if you have them equipped to your character. If they're like a starship you're flying in at the time, like because if you go ahead and you're like say you're like chilling in your starship in the middle of space, right, and that's the current starship you're using, and you're like, oh, I just want to move my starship out of the wallet. Well, where's your character gonna go? He's literally in the starship, like he or she is in the starship right now. So there's things like that you have to think about, but you will be able to move assets out of the wallets in your game and things like that, and trade them on other different platforms, and then bring them back in. The stable tokens that you trade for, it's the same way you trade for any other crypto. So if you decide that I want to liquidate the token from this game, well, you go to the marketplaces we're listed on, wherever we get listed, and then you can just trade and liquidate that token. But understand, we're also using Ethereum in the game first. We're not even using our own token yet. So you're able to use a token initially that's easily liquidated. So, yeah.
So one last question before we end to closing this EMA.
hmm
Where do you see yourself in 5 years with the game or project?
I see us being the greatest game in existence. Like I see us making something that people like companies around the world like seek dramatically to try to compete with because there's no like I want to become a game where people are like crying because of how good it is. Like I want them to have emotions that like they can't even like I want people to really connect with this in ways that change their lives on multiple levels because that's what gaming did for me. Gaming changed my life. It made it possible for me to even come up with this idea. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for video games. And I feel like me doing this is me paying respect to that. Like I'm putting that love right back into the same community and giving it to the same community that made me who I am today. Like I feel like we as players and gamers deserve something that is this powerful finally and make it so that way we can truly experience the most epic game ever made. It's not impossible anymore. You know what I mean? So we need things like this to come into existence too because I feel like I don't want to because I don't want to just play one game. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see other projects come out that have this level of inspiration and passion and just desire to make the ultimate video game. I want them to have the focus of being the Luffy of gaming. You know what I mean? Because that's my attitude right now. I'm going to make this the greatest game that's ever exist. That's my attitude about that. I don't expect like anyone else, if you love this, to not have the same attitude when you're making a game. It doesn't matter if you're competition or not, because in Web3, competition really doesn't exist. But friendly competition, pushing each other to make the best of the best, making the greatest thing we can make available to each other. That's that's what I strive for. And in 5 years of us doing that right now to 5 years from now, and how much I work and how hard I work, yeah, especially with the rest of my team and everything running, oh, it's this game's gonna have people just losing their minds. Like I want us to be known globally around the world as one of the most powerful MMORPGs ever created.
You guys heard that here. Will be the most powerful and the best game you guys will ever hear of. That's where he wants to be in 5 years. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm not
And
playing.
yeah, so we'll be doing more AMAs in the future together for sure. And actually, just a small fun fact about this current AMA. Animus Regnum with Elijah is actually the first ever project that I've invited for an AMA here on my channel outside of Adamant. Like everything on my channel has been purely Adamant. When I go for AMAs, etc., it's all about Adamant AMAs. But for the first time today, I've been in touch with Elijah for a couple of weeks already. Been exploring Animus, all of those things. I love it, and I invited him over so that I could share with you guys the passion that he has, everything that he's been doing. Amazing. Like I mentioned again, first time ever we're doing this, having another project on board. And thank you for really being here and giving us the time to share everything to our community. And a question, oh, there's a last question out here. Do you have a character in Animus Regnum? Question for me. I actually do. How many do I have? You guys will be surprised. Try stalking me on Twitter. Click my NFT profile picture and then go find out how my wallet's like. And you'll be seeing a lot of Animus Aidens in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check that out. And yeah, any last words, Elijah, for everyone?
Yeah, it's just an honor to be partnered up with you guys. Like, this is what I live for. Like, getting into this space, um, it's intense, especially like being coming from the ground up. You know, I don't come from money or anything like that. I'm just an artist who has a dream and a passion and love for this, and this space has been so supportive in meeting people like yourself and projects like yourself and companies like yourself that want to help build things like this into reality. It just it's crazy. It feels like we're all living a collective dream where we're like all simultaneously, unconsciously working together to make the dopest thing ever. And I can't wait to see it to life because I feel like we all are bound to do it. We're gonna make something that's just gonna change the world.
All right. So, yeah, thank you everyone for watching. We hope to see you all again. I'll be definitely bringing you back on stream once we have further developments.
Oh
Can't
yeah,
wait.
make sure you guys join that Discord now. Lock in that free character NFT. You know what I mean? There's definitely not something you want to miss out on. And as you know, Dom said it himself. He has a bunch of Aiden.
Discord.gg/Animus Regnum. I'll send it in the chat.
Peace out, guys. We appreciate you.